Africa to avoid the involvement of the current remains should be repatriated back to Lusaka. The family is adamant to have him laid to rest in South Africa to avoid the involvement of the current president, Hakainde Hichilema, in the funeral. Lungu died in June while receiving medical attention in Johannesburg. We'll have more details on this story in our next bulletin. The Ministry of Justice is set to brief the media about the postponement of the Madlanga Commission hearings this afternoon. The Commission into alleged police capture announced the postponement in a statement earlier this morning, citing procurement delays after it was originally scheduled to start next week. President Cyril Ramaphosa established the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into criminality, political interference and corruption in the criminal justice system. It will investigate allegations made by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi last month. Arun Singh has more.
The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry won't commence next week due to delays in the procurement of vital infrastructure. In a statement this morning, the Commission placed the blame squarely on the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development for the delays, claiming they had failed to meet the procurement deadlines. The Justice Department is responsible for all procurement and costs related to the Commission. A budget of 147.9 million rand has been allocated for the establishment of the Commission, which is expected to run over the course of the next 6 months and possibly even longer. While a new date for the commencement of the Madlanga Commission hasn't been communicated, the public hearings will be held at the Bridget Mabandla Justice College in Pretoria. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News.
In the Western Cape, 2 people have died and 2 bystanders wounded following a shooting at the Makassar Heights taxi pickup point earlier today. This comes a day after 3 other people lost their lives at a taxi rank in Philippi East and Khayelitsha. It's understood that the recent escalation of violence between Kata and Kodeta resulted in the deaths of 2 people at a taxi rank in Philippi East yesterday, leaving 4 others critically injured, with victims including passengers. Meanwhile, a taxi driver was shot at the Vuyani taxi rank in Town 2 in Khayelitsha yesterday, while 3 other people sustained injuries. While the serious and violent crime detectives are probing this morning's attack, police believe the motive is related to the taxi conflict. The police's Malcolm Poiki.
Preliminary investigation revealed that unknown men, armed, approached the taxi pickup point, opened fire, fatally shot and killed 2 males, and 2 bystanders were caught in crossfire.
In the same breath, in Bishop Lavis, police are investigating the death of a man who was reportedly shot outside a primary school in the area this morning. The motive for the murder is unknown at this stage and no arrests have yet been made. The Bishop Lavis Crime Prevention Forum's Graham Lyndhurst.
The Bishop Lavis Crime Prevention Forum condemned the fatal shooting that just happened outside Greenlands Primary School. Although it was not a learner that was fatally shot, we condemn the fact that the shooting takes place in the vicinity where learning is taking place.
Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Higher Education has written to Minister Buti Manamela to explain his reasons behind placing 3 SETAs under administration. Manamela recently appointed administrators for the sector education and training authorities on construction, services and local government. He cited governance failures, procurement irregularities and lapses in oversight as part of his reasons. But Manamela is now under pressure with some opposition parties saying he did not follow the appropriate process and also appointed ANC-linked people as administrators. Higher Education Portfolio Chairperson Tebo Kholizia says the 12th of September has been provisionally set for the minister's appearance before Parliament.
There is a process that was supposed to have happened. We will find out in our engagement with the ministry what was that process and if it was processed properly, and if not, what will be the consequence for management, because it can't be business as usual. This is not the first time this thing is happening. It's as if now higher education and training is just about SETAs and being on media for wrong reasons.
The Electoral Commission has registered 34 new political parties after last year's national and provincial elections. This brings the total number of registered political parties to 472. Although most of these organizations are eligible to contest national elections, only 18 of them are currently hold seats in Parliament. Addressing the media in Centurion today, IEC Chief Electoral Officer Saima Mabolo highlighted the growing number of parties seeking to participate in future elections.
287 are registered on a national level, while the balance of 185 are either registered provincially or on the district or metro level. 13 of the new political parties were registered in the period between July 2025 and today.
And China has condemned the killing of 5 journalists in Gaza. Yesterday, an Israeli strike on Nasset Hospital killed 20 people, including the journalists. Gaza's government media office says the journalists worked at various publications, including Al Jazeera, Reuters, The Independent, and the NBC network. The ongoing war in Gaza has been one of the deadliest for media workers, with 200 journos killed over the course of the nearly 2-year Israeli assault. China has called for Israel to immediately stop its military operations in Gaza. Gold's trading at $3,374.55 an ounce. The rand's at 17.62 to the dollar, at 23.76 to the pound, at 20.52 to the euro. Brent crude oil's at $68.02 a barrel.
Well, at this hour in the traffic, if you're leaving the Joburg CBD, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic in the Selby area. This is on the M2 westbound between the Crown Interchange and Main Reef Road. Also, there's slow-moving traffic in the Kempton Park area. This is driving through the CBD on Pretoria Road between CR Swart and Plain Road, and in the Mother City protest in Khayelitsha. That means Swartklip Road is closed off to traffic between Baden Powell Drive and Steve Biko Drive.
A look at your weather. Clear skies in Gauteng this afternoon. Temperatures are peaking at highs between 28 and 29 degrees. It's also a fine afternoon in Cape Town today, along with moderate southerly winds at a high of 19 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. The Constitutional Court has denied the family of Zambian former President Edgar Lungu leave to appeal in the battle to determine where his remains should be buried.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. You're with Mandy Wiener on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. Think bigger, think Nedbank Commercial Banking. On the show today, the Madlanga Commission into police capture is postponed. The Justice Minister is due to have a briefing. Kat Matlala is back in court. The IEC gives an update on preparedness for local government elections. And Stats SA releases the Victims of Crime survey. Housebreaking remains the most experienced crime in SA. All of that over the next hour.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Report on 702 and Cape Talk with me, Mandy Wiener. Good to be with you today. That breaking news coming this morning that the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry into alleged police capture no longer starting next week. There are procurement delays. We'll speak more about that in a moment, but I want to go straight to Sinawo Tambo, EFF national spokesperson, because he needs to get to another interview. Sinawo, good afternoon to you. Thank you for your time. We have this news coming out this morning about the commission now being postponed. What are your thoughts on that as the EFF?
Look, I think we're not surprised, and greetings to you and your listeners, Mandy, that there's been this delay. Because we had said first and foremost that this commission, which was established at that time, and in the context where Senzo Mchunu was placed on a special leave, which the Constitution of South Africa doesn't make a provision for, was nothing but an attempt to ease the anxieties of the people of South Africa and a pretense at action. And the fact that there was no forethought towards how this is going to be funded infrastructurally and how it's going to be ensured that it meets the interim report deadline it set for itself within a 3-month period is testament to that. And I think something we must all remember as people of South Africa right now is that Senzo Mchunu, while all of this chaos is happening and this commission is suspended indefinitely, Senzo Mchunu continues to draw a minister's salary. He continues to retain security that is retained by ministers. He continues to stay in a ministerial house and retain all of those benefits because on his special leave, none of these are going to be revoked. But perhaps of more concern, and that we should all think about in terms of state capacity, is that there is no existing infrastructural capacity to host a simple commission of inquiry, and procurement needs to be done for things of that nature, which we should have readily available infrastructure for. So it's a reflection of incompetence, but also a lack of seriousness on all fronts.
You're calling for it to be indefinitely postponed. Doesn't that just prolong all of this? And having Senzo Mchunu on paid leave, that just means more money, doesn't it?
Now, we're not calling for it to be indefinitely postponed. It is indefinitely postponed because if you read the statement that was issued by the Commission this morning, they don't set any date where they think it will be able to begin. So perhaps we'll get more clarity from the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development this afternoon. But there's no date that the Commission thinks that it's possible in the near future that this is going to be able to continue. So that's part and parcel of the reason why we're saying that Justice Madlanga should perhaps step aside from this process because it's going to taint his legacy in the legal profession because it's a mere political ploy for Cyril Ramaphosa to continue to protect a political ally in Senzo Mchunu. And he should not be part and parcel of that. Our only faith right now lies in the ad hoc committee in Parliament, which thankfully doesn't rely on funding from the Department of Justice to conduct its work.
Sinawa, thank you very much. Sinawa Tambo, EFF MP, national spokesperson, reacting there to the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry being postponed. And what they've told us in a statement is that this is because of delays in the procurement of vital infrastructure. What does that mean? Oren Singh, EWN reporter, joining us in studio to unpack this further. So we were gearing up. EWN's been gearing up. All of the media have been gearing up. Witnesses, police as well, for this inquiry to start. Obviously, a lot goes into it. Did we see this coming?
I think so, Mandy. Last week we had a site visit to the Bridget Mabandla Justice College, and there were 4 media houses present there, just to get an understanding of the space and the layout of where this commission is going to be heard. And I think we kind of got an understanding that there might be delays when we did the site visit on Friday. We hadn't gotten proper questions answered around the internet connection, which is vital if you're going to be live streaming this for public consumption. They hadn't secured a service provider to do the live streaming. And we must remember that it doesn't fall all on the commission. This falls on the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development, who have been assigned a budget or allocated a budget of 147.9 million rand to establish the commission and allow for it to run. So I definitely think that we did see there were going to be some delays. But with that said, Mandy, through chatting to several sources within the department as well as the commission, we understand it's not going to be a lengthy delay. We're looking at possibly a maximum of 2 weeks, just to get those small things finalized and them to get it in order before we can commence.
What does the delays in the procurement of vital infrastructure mean? Is it because we've got a venue? So is it recording equipment? Is it laptops? What are we talking about here?
Everything, Mandy. When we attended the site yesterday, on Friday, they were still busy sorting out infrastructure within the auditorium. Remember, the layout for the commission has to be done in a specific way, where you have the commissioners seated in a specific section, you have the witnesses on one side and so forth, and they were busy sorting out all the cables, they were busy sorting out the desks and all of that, and making the changes to the auditorium that will allow for a smooth basically pan, if you could call it that way, from one person to another. With that, they still have the internet to sort out. They still have the procurement of possibly TVs for the media room, because the media room is going to be separate from where the hearings are held, internet connection, and all of those things need to be sorted out, Mandy. Those were some of the issues raised by the media during that site visit. So I suppose the infrastructure side of things is not yet sorted, and the procurement process, from what we hear, is very stringent. The Department of Justice and Constitutional Development is adhering to the Public Finance Management Act, which I suppose they should be adhering to at all times. But specifically when it comes to regard to this commission, they don't want any clapbacks. They don't want anyone to point fingers and say that you bypassed this and you did that and so forth. So it makes things a little bit more time consuming.
We complain when things take too long, but we also complain when they're rushed. And this really does feel like a rush job. It makes me think of the National Dialogue. That was also a rush job. Is that the sense that you're getting?
Definitely. I think when we sat down last week and we visited the site, we definitely felt that, there was drilling going on. There were carpets being ripped out and things being put into place. Definitely felt like this was being a rush job. And I think the last thing we want as South Africans, the media at large as well, is to see this fall flat on its face. We want to ensure that when this commission starts, everything is run smoothly. We don't have issues with internet connection. We don't have issues with the live broadcast being interrupted. And so that's just going to throw more egg on the face of the people that have been implicated in this.
Oren, thank you very much. Oren Singh, EWN reporter, speaking to us there about that delay in the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Well, as he mentioned, the Commission of Inquiry, in its statement, firmly laying the blame here with the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development for the delays, claiming they'd failed to meet the procurement deadlines. We are anticipating a press conference at 1 o'clock by the Justice Minister, Khomotso Modise, EWN reporter, looking ahead to that. Khomotso, good afternoon to you. What is the sense you're getting of what we can anticipate in that press conference?
Good afternoon, Mandy. Well, it seems, at least from the press statement or the advisory that we've received from the Justice Department, the department is taking this very seriously. Not only is the Justice Minister, Mamoloko Kubai, going to be addressing the media, but also the Deputy Minister, Mandy Andries Nel, will also be briefing the media to, shed light on what exactly happened in terms of procurement here. I think it's interesting that the Madlanga Commission places the blame squarely on the department, and now the department feels the need to clarify. And so I am on my way to that press briefing this afternoon. And I think something that I really want to find out is what exactly this equipment that was meant to be procured is. And do we know now when the Commission of Inquiry could be able to hear its first witness and actually begin its work?
While this is all happening, we still have this instability in the police. For example, Shadrach Sabia, the Deputy Commissioner, is in court today challenging his dismissal as well. So there is some urgency, but in a way, as I was saying to Oren, it also feels like a bit of a rush job.
It does feel like a bit of a rush job. I can tell you that, Sabia is one of the people that really want to see the Commission of Inquiry starting, or at least that's what he says. He says that he's welcomed the move by the president to give everyone the opportunity to clear their names. And he says this Commission of Inquiry is exactly the place that he wants to clear his name. And I think from his end, he'd like to see it happen ASAP. But yes, it does feel a bit like a rush job. And I think the department, particularly the Minister of Justice, Mamoloko Kubai, will clarify why they thought they could procure everything that they need in such a short space of time.
Khomotso, thank you very much. Khomotso Modise, EWN reporter, will be looking ahead towards that briefing at 1 o'clock. So EWN will continue to update you on that, what Mamoloko Kubai has to say, the Justice Minister, when it comes to this delay. So I'm a bit torn here, right? Because you want the Commission to do its job properly, and that means it needs to have proper resources. These things do take time, but we need clarity on why there was a delay. Did they just dilly-daddle as the Justice Department? Is it a procurement issue, red tape? There is urgency. And in fact, the presidency, when they appointed Justice Madlanga to head this inquiry, one of the things they said was that they wanted tight timelines. They wanted, while the inquiry was going on, to be able to have cases referred to IPID, the police watchdog, so that they could begin prosecution. So this whole thing didn't take forever, like you saw the State Capture Commission taking, where you have 2-3 years and then recommendations for investigations and prosecutions. They want it to happen much quicker. And this is not quicker. This is now taking longer, but then we complain it's a rush job. What do you think? How do you think this is being managed? Or do you think this is, again, very similar to the national dialogue, where everything was done in haste and that meant that it was in disarray? Would you rather it take some time? Are you in favor of a delay? Or do you think we shouldn't be having this inquiry at all?
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently.
Afternoon, Mandy. We're heading into day 3 at Flushing Meadows. I don't think we've had your predictions as yet to who will be your top picks, you and Tolagele. You didn't have a good Wimbledon. Let's hope you'll have a good US Open prediction, as it's tradition. So yeah, who are your picks for the men's and women's championship?
Oh, good question. So I have been watching. I just haven't told you that I've been watching. I love the US Open because it's in the evenings and then you can wake up really early in the morning. Did you see Alcaraz's new buzz cut? I think that's the big talk so far. Look, I think my money's on Alcaraz. I think that he's going to win the US Open. I think he'll come back from Wimbledon. He's great on hard courts, that pace. I think it'll be Alcaraz Sinner again. And then the women, I want to go with Coco Gauff. I want to go with Coco Gauff. I'm not absolutely convinced. I think Sabalenka is just too strong at the moment. So I think maybe we'll see a Coco Gauff Sabalenka. I haven't looked at the draw completely. Don't count out Ben Shelton in the US at Flushing Meadows. So I think that he's my underdog. I think that he is great on hard courts and he's great in New York, and he's my fave at the moment. Real growth needs more than just banking, and Nedbank Commercial Banking is your growth partner. Their team of industry experts understand your business and its potential, offering insight to help you see opportunity where others see obstacles. Because when you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Two iconic South African acts, one unforgettable stage. Jeremy Loops and Ladysmith Black Mambazo present Echoes Between Us. Live at the Teatro at Monte Casino on 19 and 20 September. Experience this once-in-a-lifetime collaboration of rhythm, harmony, and heritage with these exclusive shows. Tickets on sale now from Web Tickets. Proudly supported by 702 and 947.
Choose your health. Choose Clicks. Choose to speak to our pharmacists who are available to answer your questions and assist you with your medication queries, prescription advice, and more at your convenience. Choose expert healthcare advice. Choose our pharmacy chat service. Request a call back at clicks.co.za or inquire on the Clicks app today. T's and C's apply. Choose your health. Choose Clicks. Feel good? Pay less.
Life is full of moments. Some are small.
Surprise, I got you a matcha latte.
Some are big.
Surprise, we're having twins!
For all those moments, there's the new Haval H6 SUV with a spacious interior and voice command. It's built for big moments. Get it from only $6,699 per month. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM. Go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank and authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
South Africa's new two-pot retirement system is revealing just how much pressure working people are under. This Thursday on 702 Breakfast, Old Mutual Corporate will unpack this headline topic from the Old Mutual Thought Leaders Forum and explore the key behavioral lessons that have emerged since the system's introduction. We'll also look at the ways in which employers can step up with smarter support, better benefits, and play a vital role in building long-term financial resilience for the country's workforce. Join the conversation Thursday, 28th of August, brought to you by Old Mutual Corporate on 702.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Hi, Mandy. This is Sally. We have a criminal justice system. Okay, we have the NPA. Okay, maybe under the current leadership, it's not doing what's supposed to be doing. But instead of calling yet another commission of inquiry at some 150 million rands, why not resource the NPA to investigate this suspected crime?
Surely, Mandy, that when the president appointed a chair for the inquiry, he should at the same time have instructed the relevant department to set up the resources for a secretariat for the inquiry. And that shouldn't be starting now. It should have been long done. Have a good day, Tom.
I'm sure there is a secretariat. I think the delay is just in the procurement. But from my experience, there's always a secretariat that runs the show pretty much. And that would fall under the commission, not under the Justice Department. I think it's merely a procurement issue. And I agree. I think we need to better resource the NPA. I think that's always been the problem. They need better funding. They need better resources in order to actually do the work of investigating, prosecuting. And we need that troika system back, the investigators with the prosecutors, so that the NPA is fully functional.
702 Mandy Wiener.
Weekdays 12-1 p.m.
Well, let's take a look at the SETAs, the Sector Education and Training Authorities. So the new Minister, Buti Manamela, has placed 3 sector heads under administration, and he recently appointed administrators for the SETAs on construction, services and local government. Now, there's some issues here. Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Higher Education has written to him, asking him to explain why he's done this and his reasons behind placing them under administration. But beyond that, the Public Service Commission is also now looking at the appointment of these administrators and why the SETA chairpersons were placed under administration, or the SETAs were placed under administration. Professor Somadoda Fakeni is the chairperson of the Public Service Commission and looks at this for us now. Prof, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for your time. What exactly is the role that the Public Service Commission now plays regarding the sector education and training authorities?
It is very specific. It is to look at the individuals who have been designated to be administrators of these three SETAs, because there have been claims that they were involved in some of governance challenges in institutions where they were, to see whether they are proper, to see if these claims are valid. And it is that specific. And once we've investigated, we'll then come back to the minister and say, indeed, this and that is valid, or this was not verifiable, and go ahead and advise whether they should still be considered as administrators or not.
Okay. Fundamental to this is the fact that there's obviously been controversy around the appointments from the prior minister as well to the SETAs. Why is it so important that this process is transparent?
It is quite fundamental because SETAs are playing a very important role and are sitting on billions in a country that has a skills and employment challenge. And governance challenges in these SETAs can be something devastating to the processes and the mandates of these institutions. It is very much important that we rethink even the appointment of boards, of councils, and make them transparent and more scientific and systematic so that the public gains confidence and see that even these processes are professionalized and are above board.
And Prof, what do you look at when you go through this vetting process of the individuals?
There are already specific allegations made in terms of what these individuals were involved in. I would assume that the investigating teams will go for that. And we will also be looking at all other things, even those that might not be immediately exposed at this stage, because sometimes we do deal with the lifestyle audit, with the verification of declaration of interest and so forth. So we will use the same infrastructure of verifying whether the claims are valid or whether there are any other issues that might compromise these candidates from being considered.
And are your recommendations binding to the minister?
Our recommendations to the minister will be very clear, and as a constitutional body, I would find it very difficult that he could actually ignore.
Prof, I think we have that, Prof. Thank you very much, Professor Somadoda Fakeni, Chairperson of the Public Service Commission, speaking to us there. So the Public Service Commission now looking at those individuals who have been appointed as administrators to three of those troubled sector education and training authorities, SETAs. Parliament also concerned about that, and there really does need to be stability now with those SETAs following all of this controversy around the appointments. 12:30, time for Eyewitness News headlines.
Thanks, Mandy. Good afternoon. We begin with the latest from the courts, where the Constitutional Court has denied the family of Zambian former President Edgar Lungu leave to appeal in the battle to determine where his remains should be buried. The family approached the Apex Court after the High Court ruled in the Zambian government's favor, ordering that Lungu's remains should be repatriated back to Lusaka. Still in the courts, the urgent legal battle between top cops Shadrack Sibiya and Fani Masemola has been delayed by an application for the matter to be heard before a full bench of judges. Sibiya, who is the Deputy Commissioner for Crime Prevention, approached the Pretoria High Court with an application for his reinstatement after his suspension last month. The suspension was prompted by explosive allegations made by KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Meanwhile, the EFF is calling on retired Justice Mbuyiseli Madlanga to distance himself from the SAPS Commission of Inquiry, calling it tainted. The Madlanga Commission announced earlier today that it will not be beginning its work on the 1st of September as scheduled due to procurement issues which it blamed on the Justice Department. The Justice Ministry is set to provide clarity in a media briefing this afternoon. And Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana says he expects full operations to continue at the Government Pensions Administration Agency after placing its CEO on precautionary suspension. Godongwana's decision to suspend Gidiboni Madiehe with full pay comes amid serious allegations of procurement irregularities at the agency. Those are the headlines. This Eyewitness News and more at 1 o'clock or as it happens.
EWN Sport.
Kelly, we had a WhatsApp voice note come through asking my predictions on Flushing Meadow, the US Open, and your predictions. So I said Alcaraz.
Yes.
Alcaraz.
Him and his new buzz cut, which is not.
Yeah. It's not all it. He looks.
I was reading an article. All the players on the tour were like, "No, it's not the one.
No,
it's going to be a rough few weeks."
I think he's trying to be a bad boy.
No, apparently his brother accidentally cut his hair, and then they were like, "The only way to fix it is to shave the whole thing off." So
that's funny. I reckon Ben Shelton is the underdog. I think home crowd advantage. I think he's going to do well. I think Coco Gauff Sabalenka, but Sabalenka, the crowd hates her.
Yes.
And I think that's going to rattle her. What are your predictions?
With the women's draw, I'm always Team Coco there, even though sometimes she disappoints me. I will actually give it to Iga this time around. And Francis Tiofe will be my dark horse. Alcaraz, yes, I agree with that one. I don't know how he's going to get it together, what's going to happen, what miracle is required, but I really do believe in Francis Tiofe. Semi-final. I give him that.
Djokovic?
He'll definitely be in the draw. I don't think the legs can carry him. And I think this year was just like a year too far for him because the players are getting better. Everybody, like the talent pool is evening itself out. I think Djokovic will give himself maybe next year. And he's just like, guys, I've set the record. It's time to move on.
So you haven't actually given me a prediction. What are your two names?
Gauff and Alcaraz.
Okay.
Top two. Thank you, Mandy. Good afternoon. I'm Tolagile Mganga. The fourth round of the Beltway Premiership gets underway this evening with 5 games scheduled, including Stellenbosch up against Marumo Gallants. Stellies are still looking for their first league win of the season, but Steve Barker's Chargers are on a high, having reached the final of the MTN 8.
Yeah, I think it gives us a lot of confidence having achieved what we have and making another final. So that confidence needs to transfer to our league performances. There's a lot of bubbliness around the team. There's a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of energy. Just now we need to transfer that into the 90 minutes tomorrow evening.
16-year-old Riongo Moha made history as the youngest scorer in Liverpool's history. That's when he netted the winner in the Reds' 3-2 win over Newcastle United. For Eddie Howe, he feels that if Alexander Isak was available, they would have had a better chance of winning the game.
The quality of Alex, I think he would have made a difference in the 2 games. I don't think there's any denying that. But that said, the team's functioned really well, and I think the performance of the players and the team in the 2 games doesn't happen without every part of the team functioning well. You can't carry anyone in this division against any opponent. So yes, we maybe today in that first half needed to score when we were on top, and goals do change games as always.
And at the US Open, Venus Williams, Victoria Mboko and Petra Kvitova are out of the Grand Slam after first round losses, while Australian Open champion Madison Keys also suffered a shock exit. There were wins for Carlos Alcaraz, Jack Draper and Casper Rudd, while selected names in action today include Stefanos Tsitsipas, Iga Swiatek and Ekaterina Alexandrova. Tolagile Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this stage, if you're leaving the Joburg CBD, there's slow-moving traffic on the M2 westbound. That's in the Selby area between the Crown Interchange and Main Reef Road. Also in Kempton Park, we still have slow-moving traffic. This is on Pretoria Road, traveling through the CBD between CR Swart and Plain Road. Otherwise, the rest of Gauteng not looking too bad. Just look out for those faulty traffic lights, though. That's in Alex at Marlborough and Far East Bank. In the Mother City, we still have protests in the Khayelitsha area resulting in Swartklip Road being closed off to traffic between Baden Powell Drive and Steve Biko Drive. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. Like a man wearing his finest suit on his way to an interview. He's prepped 100 times, but he still has butterflies. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic. It's a potential lucky break that could change someone's life. Every story is different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
The Checkers Hyper price drop is here. Save up to 40% on deals like Escort Bacon 200 grams any 4 for 99 Rand, save 20 Rand. Paramlat or Benitez salted butter 500 grams any 3 for 199 Rand, save 71 Rand. And a Morphe Richards digital air fryer 7.2 litre for only 999 Rand, save 300 Rand. Deals valid until this Sunday, only at Checkers Hyper.
Are you living with diabetes? Tired of painful fingerstick tests? Introducing a new continuous glucose monitoring system from Abbott Laboratories. The Freestyle Libre 2 system sends glucose readings straight to your compatible smartphone. With minute-by-minute glucose readings, optional glucose alarms, and excellent accuracy, the Freestyle Libre system is here to support you in the management of your diabetes. For more information and where to buy your Freestyle Libre 2 sensor, visit www.freestylelibre.za.com. Now available at your local pharmacy.
702 and Capitec are showcasing a new, exciting game changer for small and medium businesses, helping you cut costs and grow. Here's how you'll save.
So if we're looking at business is really a team sport. And we want a team who wants to be there. So having an engaged team is really a team that's more productive, it's more creative, it's more committed to the business's success. So building a positive company culture means you've got a team that goes above and beyond, boosting performance.
Small business focus with Capitec. No matter the size of your business, Capitec's got you on 702.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Hi Mandy, Michael here. Mandy, is possible, could you ask your guest how much money does the SETA have, or the different SETAs have oversight? Is it billions? Is it millions? Just to give some context to the amount of funding that they are looking after.
Great question. I do not know the answer to that. I'll try and get it for you. I'm not sure that the Public Service Commission would know that either. I think that's a question for the Higher Education Ministry. So I'll try and get you an answer on that one. On the WhatsApp line, Mandy, so now we have another less than useless commission where absolutely no action will happen. Police issue exposes just how deep and extensive corruption and theft run in the ANC and the government. The fish rots and stinks from the head down. And Karen says, Alcaraz and Shelton, my take. Love Shelton's moves, don't love Alcaraz's hair. Yeah, I feel the same as you on all of that, Karen. Thank you.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently.
Stats SA has released the Governance, Public Safety and Justice Survey, the Victims of Crime report. And this really gives us a sense beyond the police statistics of crime in the country and what South Africans are experiencing. So let's break down that report with the Statistician General, Risenga Maluleke. Risenga Maluleke, good afternoon to you. Welcome to the Midday Report.
Let me greet you, Mandy, and greet the 702 listeners.
Okay, so let's start with the most experienced crime affecting South African households in 2024-2025. It's housebreaking again.
Yeah, what happens is that we do distinguish between housebreaking and home robbery. In that, housebreaking is when someone comes into your house, commits burglary when the people are not there or members of the household are not there. Whereas home robbery would tend to happen when at least one member of the household is there. So you can see that with housebreaking, which happens largely in winter, followed by winter as in June, and followed by December, we tend to see that criminals tend to take advantage of people not being around at home.
Interesting. And June, I imagine, would correlate with school holidays.
Certainly, when you take your June time as well as your December time, you would see that people are also traveling to outer, especially from the urban cities to outer cities.
Male-headed households and those living in KZN were most affected by this.
Well, crime does take a shape. When you look at male-headed households, you find a lot of housebreaking. And whereas if you look at an individual level, because we measure at both sides, at the household and individual levels, we tend to see that at individual level, it's theft of personal property, which would still happen during your June month and December month the most. But when you look at crimes like assault, women are much more vulnerable to spouses or intimate partners. 47.3% tend to indicate that the perpetrators were a spouse or an intimate partner. When you bring someone they know, an acquaintance or a friend, it goes to beyond 60%. Whereas with males at individual level, the perpetrators of assault tended to be an unknown person.
How South Africans feel safe is also looked at here. And I'm always really interested in this stat. How many South Africans feel safe walking alone in their neighborhoods during the day? That number has declined from 85% in 2020 to 80% in 2023, and now it's at 81% in this study. What does it tell us about how safe South Africans feel?
Well, when we look at where it was 5 years ago at 85%, declining to 80% in the last year, it shows that people were slowly feeling unsafe walking in the neighborhood during the day. However, when we compare last year and this year, we can see that people are starting to feel more comfortable. We see a 1% shift, an increase of people feeling safe in the neighborhood walking during the day. However, when you look at walking during the night, we're talking about 81% here. But when you look at walking during the night, you can see that it's way below in the 30s, about 36%. So you can see that people don't feel much safe walking at night in their neighborhood. Whereas when we look at safety, Limpopo tended to indicate, or people in Limpopo indicated that they were much more safer walking at any time of the day, but particularly during the day, they felt a lot more safer. And in general, rural provinces tend to show people comfortable than your urban provinces.
Rasenga Maluleke, Statistician General, thank you very much for breaking that down. Fascinating if you go and look at that. Very interesting. Limpopo recorded the highest proportion of people who feel safe walking alone both during the day and at night in Limpopo. That's really interesting, that kind of human behavior and what the survey shows us. And again, we see that people who fall victim to assault, in most instances, it's people that they know. We know that about this country, that it's often a so-called loved one or somebody that they actually know who is responsible for any kind of personal crime against them.
702, the Midday Report, Monday to Friday.
12 to 1 p.m.
12:45 on the Midday Report. The IEC, the Electoral Commission, giving the media an update today on preparedness for the 2026 local government elections. Yes, that's right. We're gearing up for another election already towards the end of next year, early 2027. Alpha Ramashwana, EWN reporter, joining us now. Alpha, good afternoon to you. We don't have a clear date. We know that it needs to fall within a kind of 3-month period. But how ready is the IEC for this local government election?
Good afternoon, Mandy. Yes, of course, the Electoral Commission spoke greatly today about the preparations for the 2026 local government elections. They are currently in engagements and talks with the Minister of Cooperative Governance to determine a date for the local government elections. The term is set to come to an end in November next year, and the law does prescribe that within 90 days an election must be held. So we do expect that the election will be held between the 2nd of November and end of January 2027. But to unpack that more, I actually have the Chief Electoral Officer of the IEC, Mr. Mamavulu. And Dr. Mamavulu, we don't have a date yet for the elections. You're currently speaking with the Minister of Cooperative Governance. When should we expect that announcement for the date for the local government elections?
Good afternoon. Look, I do not wish to go into a speculative exercise. Safe to say that we will urge in our consultations with the Minister for an expeditious treatment of the matter, because certainty is required for all role players. Ourselves, firstly, political parties, prospective independent candidates, the media broadly, so that we can prepare on the basis of a certainty. However, it would be futile to engage a speculative exercise.
And Mandy, one other thing that came out of today's briefing is that 34 new political parties have been registered with the Electoral Commission since the 2024 general elections. That is a huge number because there are many other political parties that are contesting the election. Dr. Mamavulu, would you say, this is by far the most contested local government elections that we're going to see? And in terms of making sure that these political parties qualify to go to the election, what are you doing?
Look, we will be engaging in provincial roadshows to brief unrepresented political parties about the requirements for participation and the legal framework for local government elections, so that people can know early on what the requirements are going to be, so that they can prepare accordingly.
And many, one last thing that came out today is that the IEC, as we do know, is currently going from province to province, engaging South Africans about electronic voting, where it's not going to be the traditional way of voting anymore. Currently, they haven't made a final decision about the way forward. But Dr. Mamavulu, what is the reaction from South Africans? Do they want this electronic voting from what you have gathered in these public engagements?
Well, at the outset, I think it's important that we indicate that it is not the intention of the Commission to implement e-voting for next year's election. We are, however, engaged in policy discussions, but not for implementation ahead of next year's elections. In terms of the reaction, it's a mixed reaction from members of the public. There's a significant body of thought that says this is unnecessary, is susceptible to attacks and related things. And there's also a body of thought that says the country needs to move forward and implement this, which is why a discussion based on the discussion document we issued is necessary, so that everybody's comfort can be established.
Thank you so much. That was the Chief Electoral Officer of the IEC, Mamavulu. Mandy, the IEC says they need at least 18 months to prepare for next year's local government elections, and they are officially starting that program now.
18 months. So we're looking at November. That's not quite 18 months. Alpha, thank you very much. Alpha Ramashwana, EWN reporter, speaking to us there. The IEC was under enormous pressure after the last national elections in May of 2024. There was huge backlash and criticism around largely the zip machines, around the change in legislation as well, in terms of where people could vote, that 24A. So I think that the IEC has a huge hurdle, because they're going to have to build up a trust and earn respect back again. So they need to plan 18 months. We're looking at between November and February, pretty much. It's 90 days, that period. So we don't have a date yet, but it's going to fall over that time frame. So let's hope they can get it done in time. Are you just surviving when you know you're meant to thrive? Unlock your next level at the Mind Matters Summit, where CEOs, Olympians, and neuroscientists deliver real tools for real change. This is your upgrade, happening at the Cape Town ICC on the 4th of September. Mind Matters Summit. Change your mind, change your life. Book now at mindmatters-summit.com, in proud partnership with Prime Media Cares.
Life has its own rhythm, but muscle and joint pain may upset the beat.
Norflex Gel.
Trust Norflex Gel's triple action formula to target muscle pain, reduce inflammation, and help numb the affected area.
Norflex Gel.
So, get your beat back and reclaim the rhythm of life.
Norflex Gel.
Beat the pain with Norflex Gel and higher strength Norflex Gel Fort. For more information, speak to your healthcare professional.
Think about 6 years ago, when Amapiano was just a musical instrument. When streaming meant watching water flow, not videos online. And remote work was only said when your remote batteries died. So it makes you wonder, what will the next 6 years bring? Hino trucks now come standard with a 6-year drivetrain warranty, covering everything from pistons to gears. So although a lot can change in 6 years, our warranty promise won't. T's and C's apply. Hino, all the way.
It took patience, perseverance, and audacity to get my first call-up and win with the Booker. And we did it together. That's why I, Dion Free, partnered with African Bank so I can win big with a 60-month fixed deposit. Patience brings results. Join the bank that backs you. Get a 12.8% return at expiry on your investment. Visit africanbank.co.za or a branch for assistance. African Bank, audacity to believe. African Bank is a licensed financial services and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Mandy, why is theft of public funds, money which is meant to be used for the people of this country, this theft by public and government officials, ministers, the works, why are these figures and amounts not actually factored into our crime statistics? Because this is a crime against the people of the country.
Very good day, Mandy. And the system of crime, Tembisa, come Tembisa. Like there's cars every day robbing people of cell phones when they walk on you can't even walk on the street on a day. The problem is people who talk about crime, they're not even part of the township. They're sitting in their big houses with electric fences, with securities. Come to Tembisa, you'll see, from Tembisa. We've got polos, Avanza, like every day people are robbed. Even some ladies are got killed of cell phones. We've got that high crime of cell phones in Tembisa.
So that's exactly what the Victims of Crime survey looks at, is what South Africans' experience of crime. So they don't look at the police stats and how many people open cases. They go into areas and do surveys asking people about that. Oh, I have an answer for you, courtesy of Prof. Arison, who says SETAs, about 40 billion rand from the skills levy is what the SETAs manage. So I haven't verified that, but thank you for sending that message through.
702. Mandy Wiener.
Weekdays, 12 to 1 p.m.
Sure, there's been lots of controversy around the Tourism Minister, Patricia de Lille, dissolving the South African Tourism Board last week, and the reasons why she did that. She was on with Bongani Bingwa on 702 earlier today. Take a listen before we chat to Wayne Duvenage from Outer in response to that.
On the face of it, the CEO that was suspended, there are many questions around her own actions, payments to suppliers for services never delivered, overseas trips, all kinds of issues, questions raised against her. And now the assertion is that you're giving her political cover, all because there was a meeting, all because of one meeting.
Absolutely nonsense.
You know, people must come with proof. Because as we are speaking right now, the CEO remains suspended. The new board has come in, and they will now take that matter further. So there's no cover up from anybody.
Go have a listen to that entire interview on Prime Media Plus or the podcast. Catch that. It's really well worth listening to. Well, OUTA's been responding to the tourism minister's decision, saying that it signals alarming erosion of governance in South Africa. Wayne Duvenage, the CEO of OUTA, joining us now. Wayne, good afternoon to you. Thanks for joining us. What are your concerns about the actions being taken by Patricia de Lille?
Yeah, hi Mandy. It's actually sometimes what is she not doing, and what she really isn't doing is allowing a good board, by the way, with good governance, to just continue with this work. The previous board, there were also issues there, but let's just deal with this one where she was very quick to remove them. Yet on the 17th of July, they sent a vote of no confidence, the whole board, to the minister about the chairperson who was not doing the work that they required to bring her up to speed, to have her concurrence on this matter. And no answers from them. From her. She really just looked away and was very quick to just remove them on what is a really flimsy and technical matter. And then within a few days replace them. What you should have done is replace the chairperson as he left, that's Professor Davids, on the 31st of July, and allowed this board to continue with this work that it needs to do. So, you know, if she's not going to deal with the issue at hand and the substance of the matter and just remove the board, then she's got to answer to that.
And you're of the belief that this is a board that was doing its job, and that that this is just going to lead to more instability.
Yeah, absolutely, Mandy. You know, we seldom see and we celebrate when we have good boards with good governance, especially those that have got industry expertise, not filled with politicians, doing its oversight work, holding executives to account, and then they get removed. And that is really, really strange. You've got to ask yourself why. Why was she so quick to do it when she was missing in action in so many of the requests for her to engage with that board? She hasn't been ministerial on this matter. She hasn't really got to the bottom of the issue. So now we have another board. This is the third board in less than a year. And SA Tourism is in a mess. I mean, I see it from other angles where we get calls from people. The whole Indaba tourism in Indaba was a mess. So there's a lot more than just the CEO's incompetence or financial concerns.
Wayne, thank you very much. Wayne Duvenage, CEO of OUTA, responding there to the tourism minister's decision. Real growth needs more than just banking, and Nedbank Commercial Banking is your growth partner. Their team of industry experts understand your business and its potential, offering insight to help you see opportunity where others see obstacles. Because when you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
What is Overtrail? Is it off the beaten path, over the edge of comfort, or the thrill of the road less taken? It's over every bridge, every obstacle, every trail, and over to that view that takes your breath away. Overtrail means going further, exploring deeper, surrounded by the comfort and sophistication of a luxury SUV. It's this spirit that inspired the Overtrail project. Experience Overtrail in the LX and GX range. Lexus. Experience amazing.
Want to save on your next local holiday? Lekker offers amazing deals on local accommodation all year round. From self-catering getaways to luxury stays and everything in between, Lekker has something for every budget. Don't miss out on Lekker amazing year-round accommodation offers all over South Africa. Download the Lekker app today and discover how easy it is to book an affordable holiday. Lekker, always save on the best local stays.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a parent and a nervous but excited kid practicing her lines to put on a show-stopping performance at the school play. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's a future superstar on the move. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005. in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a license.
The Midday Report.
Thank you very much for listening. The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener on 702 and Cape Talk is brought to you by Nedbank Commercial Banking. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. It's 1 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Court battle between top cop Sibiya and Masemola delayed, and South Africa's High Commissioner to Kenya dies. Good afternoon, I'm Maki Malapo. We begin in